Hey everybody, this is James with WSTrades.com. I want to provide an update here on ticker AMZN or Amazon. I was looking at trending stuff and I saw that the Amazon 20-for-1 stock split was a hot term again today. Looks like a lot of people are out there searching about the 20-for-1 stock split. I did just go back and look at an old story here. This is actually from March 9th, talking about the 20-for-1 split and also the $10 million buyback. I believe this thing was originally announced for early June, if I'm not mistaken. So I don't know, maybe people are, looking, close of business. So distributions from the stock split will be made to Amazon shareholders at the close of business on June 3rd. So the original announcement there was for early June for the split to actually happen, but for some reason people are out there, really searching that again today here. So I just want to kind of give an update, kind of see what's going on within the chart here. I do have the daily chart the weekly chart I was looking at first here, and I did notice it just busted through a very key level at 3,200. You can see here on the weekly that it sold down to that 3,200 level, rejected it nicely, rallied up to this high of 3,773, sold back off to that level, rejected it again, had a little run, sold off again to 3,200, rejected it again. That's where it came up here and could not quite set a fresh high, but it was pretty close to it. And then it fell through and sold through it with a lot of things. We saw that big market turn down here on the weekly time frames, but then it came down here to around 2,800 and rejected that level several times nicely and has just ripped and closed above this very key level here at 3,200. So I went into the 1 hour to get a little more detail into what's going on. And the thing was pretty much living in the overbought for a while here on this run. Geez, you can see right here, this would have been about a week ago. Last Wednesday, it got into the overbought area and pretty much was living up there. Had a little dip out of it here, but then went right back into the overbought. But now it's made a nice drawdown on this time frame. The RSI is pretty level here around 50. So I just keep an eye on this trend line right here. We had a nice little run up. It pulled back to this trend line, rejected it nicely, and then blasted off and has been living above the 21. Looks like it finally fell just below the 21-day exponential moving average here. But if this thing does start to sell away from this moving average, look for it to test this trend line. And then look for, buyers to step in at this trend line. If this thing retraces down here towards this trend line, look for buyers to step in and support this level. Start buying in, rip it away from that uptrend line. If not, and it actually closes below that trend line, I would take that as a good short entry opportunity and, look for cheaper prices. You can see if it were to, say, fall through this trend line here, I think 3,000 could be a key level. If it doesn't hold the 3,200, that could be key right there. I think if it falls through 32, it's coming to this trend line, and 3,000, you see some rejection here where it was a barrier and trying to get through it, and then it finally ripped through a little bit of resistance here, and then it finally ripped through that level. So definitely some price points to keep an eye on here: 3,200, this uptrend line, and 3,000 as well. I think all in play to the downside right now. Might alert you to some good short entry opportunities. And then kind of see what happens at those levels if the buyers step back in and start to make this thing rip. I also want to give a trading update here. I got into a new trade yesterday. Let's take a look here at my monitor tab. So Chegg, let me go to the chart here of Chegg. I recently had a trade on this ticker and my shares got called away, and just kind of looking at them on the larger time frame, like going out to the weekly here. They also recently, similar to Amazon, just broke through a key resistance level. So let me zoom in a little bit here. You could see they had this massive move down. I think that's where I played them originally when they were around $25. Shares got called away here at 30 because I was continuing to sell 30 calls, but you can see it rejected several candles here on the weekly, rejecting that 30 level. sold off down to 23, rammed back up, and again, several candles pushing right up against that 30. And then finally, last week, we get this blast through. So definitely a rip above a key level there. You can see the TTM squeeze here trending in the right direction. All these yellow bars getting small. You even see a squeeze here. We'll kind of see how this candle finishes out this week, but we actually got a squeeze bar here on the weekly for last week. So yeah, let's see if this thing ends up being a squeeze here again this week when this candle closes. But I was just looking at the RSI, still pretty low here around 40. You know, you got the TTM squeeze heading in this direction. We just broke through a key level, still below the 21-day EMA, but things are lining up for, you know, what I think might be a good rip. Larry and I were talking about this, and yeah, just looking at this longer time frame like the weekly, I really liked the way it was setting up and how it was looking. So went long here. I don't think I'm going to sell any calls on this one just because looking at this huge move they had, you know, there's not a lot in between here and here. So this huge sell off here within 1 week, you know, I think they've got some room to run to the upside. So I'll definitely keep you guys updated here on this ticker and how this trade works out. Please like this video. Please also subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed. Hit that notification bell. Appreciate you guys for taking the time to watch this. Talk to you soon.